The Houston Rockets failed the 3-1 comeback against the Warriors and lost in round 1 of the playoffs. Overall, this was a pretty successful season for the Rockets. They went from missing the playoffs last year to being the 2nd seed in the stacked West, and they only ended up losing to a team with a bunch of playoff-proven veterans. Alperen Sengun got an All-Star appearance under his belt, Amen Thompson took a pretty sizable leap, and a bunch of role players have taken pretty noticeable steps forward. Even their coach Ime Udoka had a great year. All in all, the Rockets should be proud of what they did this year, but I think the obvious hole in this Rockets team is the development, or lack thereof, of Jalen Green. I think it's pretty obvious Jalen Green was supposed to be the franchise player for the Rockets. I mean, he was picked 2nd overall over this year's current defensive player of the year. He was essentially given the keys to the franchise day 1 and could have the ball in his hands as much as he wanted. And they even gave him a Wingstop commercial. I don't know about you, but that sounds like superstar status to me. When you look at the numbers and his improvement over the year and the playoff series he just had, I think it's pretty obvious the Jalen Green train is running out of juice. So what initially made Jalen Green a prospect worth building a franchise around? For starters, his most prominent feature, his athleticism. Coming out of the G League Ignite program, Jalen Green was getting draft comparisons to guys like Bradley Beal and more notably Zach LaVine. We all know how impressive Zach LaVine's athleticism is and how he uses it. And I think you might be able to make the argument that Jalen Green is more athletic than Zach LaVine is. I mean, Jalen Green can jump higher, he can run faster. So why is he actually worse with his athleticism? There's a common misconception that athleticism is just raw speed or raw jumping power, but there's a lot more that goes into it. The reason athleticism-centered guards like Ja Morant or De'Aaron Fox are so successful is because not only are they fast, they're also great at changing directions. The ability to be twitchy and keep defenders on their toes is his own section of athleticism. When Ja Morant is running at the rim, you know he could go up and throw it on your head, or he can use his stop and start ability to minimize contact and get a better look. When Jalen Green is running at the rim, you know he's going to put it up every time. Obviously, Jalen Green is athletic, but he lacks the ability to change speeds at an elite level that would allow him to rely solely on his athleticism. When Jalen Green does bring the ball up in the air, this will bring me to my next point, he's kind of an idiot with it. Jalen Green struggles to finish at the rim a lot. He kind of just flies up there and gets stuck sometimes. He doesn't really know what to do, and he kind of just puts up silly looks that look like there was no chance of it going in. And don't get me wrong, Jalen Green has some tough finishes sometimes, but the key word there is sometimes. Jalen Green is like the prototypical inefficient scoring guard, which is a dying breed in the NBA. In today's league, you cannot be a scoring guard that doesn't shoot the ball efficiently and is turnover prone if you're not going to be either a plus defender or a plus playmaker. Jalen Green is neither of those things. He's at best a below average defender and at best a pretty bad playmaker. I want to make it clear, playmaking is a lot more than just assist numbers. So I'm not making this argument based off just looking at his box score and seeing not very good assist numbers. Playmaking goes a lot deeper than that. When you see Steph Curry come off a screen and attract 2 defenders leading to a wide open look for a teammate, even if he never touches the ball in that play, he still made an impact and play made. But Jalen Green does not have enough game sense to impact the game off ball. And his on ball activity mostly consists of ISOs and step backs or just running at the rim and chucking something up. He goes to tunnel vision with the ball in his hands and he doesn't really make the right reads. Don't get me wrong, over the years he's gotten better at reading defenses, but it's nothing to write home about. And like I already mentioned, his defense just isn't really a factor. Now, I'll give him credit, in this playoff series against the Warriors, his defense was above the level we're used to seeing with Jalen Green. But above Jalen Green level is still not that good. He's just not big enough. I mean, you know, he's relatively tall, but he's not bulky enough to really guard 2s. He's over-reliant on his athleticism to defend, and he's just not that smart. And you know, you can forgive a lot of these things early in his career, but we're 4 years in now. I mean, he's still young, but he's not young. We're at the point where it's time to stop being an NBA player based off potential and aura and start to actually be an NBA player based off production. And his improvement over these 4 years just hasn't been good, like, at all. His rookie year, his 3-point percentage lied around 34%. Currently, in year 4, his 3-point percentage lies around 35%. In fact, his true shooting percentage has gone down compared to his rookie year. The guy drafted right in front of him is Cade Cunningham, the All-NBA guard and arguably the best point guard in the East, and the guy who's drafted 3rd right behind him is the Defensive Player of the Year and All-Star, Evan Mobley. Jalen Green is not really living up to the expectations of his peers, and we just saw in the playoffs, outside of Game 2, Jalen Green dropped 7 points, then 9 points, then 8 points, then 11 points, then 12 points, and then finally, in the winner-go-home game, Jalen Green dropped 8 points. Now, obviously, in that game 2, he dropped 38 points, but do you really want to build your franchise around a player who in a playoff series has a 1 in 7 chance of having a good game? Or do you want to build your franchise around a player who's arguably one of the best post-up players in the entire league? I think it's pretty clear this is Alperen Sengun's team now, not Jalen Green's. And for Jalen Green, he's not going to live up to those Zach LaVine expectations. Right now, he honestly kind of seems like a Karis LeVert type of player. He can go nuclear some games and give you, 40 points, but he's probably the best coming off the bench as a spark plug. And don't get me wrong, he was the leading scorer for the Rockets this year, but it was on terrible efficiency, and the Rockets are more of a win by committee type of team. It's not like they're being carried by their all-star talent, it's more everybody chips in. And I know Jalen Green has stretches, especially in March, where he goes absolutely insane and he fools everybody in the league to thinking, okay, Jalen Green's finally taken the leap, me included, I get fooled, but I think it's time to admit Jalen Green is too inconsistent to be an all-star, let alone a number 1 option on a championship contender. And I think it's time that the Rockets stop giving half of the offensive load on Jalen Green. And who knows, maybe he'll be in the KD trade this summer. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. What do you think about Jalen Green. I started this channel to talk about basketball, so I'd love to hear what your opinions are. Maybe you think Jalen Green will still take another leap, or you think he's terrible. I don't know. Up to you. But I hope you do end up commenting. I really want to hear your opinion. And I also hope you consider subscribing. We're super close to 1,000 subscribers. But most importantly, I hope you have a great day. Peace.